I am Phil DeMillionaire, and I consider myself a cruise enrichment specialist, not merely a destination speaker. And as you see what I have to offer, you will understand that. The clip, although they're not the best, they're not professional, you will notice the things you need to notice. I use no notes, no lectern. I never did understand that. If you're excited about something, you explain it to your friends like they're your friends. When you're talking to your friends, you don't use notes, you don't use a lectern. I use a lot of images because we have an aging population, like myself. My hearing is not the best any longer. By using a lot of images and a lot of bold fonts, I find that the people can understand and follow the program and enjoy it and not miss anything. And that's what's important. You want every single person to enjoy the program. My one-on-one skills with people, which is hard to measure, are the best because I've worked in 138 retail pharmacies for nearly 50 years. It doesn't get much better than that. I've talked about everything, believe me, things that we could not discuss here. So without any further ado, let me show you what I have to offer and show you a live clip so that you can see me in action. Thank you very much. Talk to you shortly. Hello everyone. I am Phil Joseph DeMillionaire II, also known as Just Plain Phil. For obvious reasons, my name is terribly difficult. I am what's known as a cruise enrichment specialist, and we're going to go through the number of topics, programs that I have available so you can see why I call myself a cruise enrichment specialist. And we're going to have to do it quite rapid because we're short of time on this clip. First of all, I come prepared. I have all the right equipment, just in case the cruise line does not. I bring along a notebook for the cruise director or activities director. On the left you will see a card that they can take to the lectern to introduce me. Already prepared. On the right is a list of things I've done in my life they can draw from if they choose to make up their own. In this notebook are various pages with the various destinations, special interest topics, etc., and we're going to go through those rapidly right now. This is not a complete list, but just the highlights. Flying the Black Flag, of course, the age of piracy. The Bermuda Triangle, which is always a hot topic. Introduction to forensics, yes, very popular now. Float your boat, watercraft, from skinned and hide boats to the present cruise ships and propulsion systems as the pods, etc. Rum, not only the history of rum, it was discovered in Barbados, but the actual terminology of rum right up to cachaça. We'll take all the mystery out of it. Wacky, weird, and wonderful. 99 annual events around the world you may not have heard of, like cheese rolling in England, baby jumping in Spain, etc. Frown of the Tropics, all about palm trees, their types, their uses. It's not just for decoration. Culinary tour, this is always popular. We're going to tell all about the strange names, pink trout, blue drawers, Spanish water, oil down, run down, all those terms. Fly me to the moon. Why are we going to the moon? Why do we need a moon colony there? We'll answer all of those questions. Creatures of the deep. Yes, what lurks beneath the waves? Very interesting and very well received program. Geocaching, the 21st century treasure hunt. I'm anxious to talk about this. I am involved in it. Spin-off, the practical applications of NASA. What did we get for the money we spent? And in fact, how much money did we spend? Shell game, all about seashells, and I have a hands-on craft class on seashells also. Leonardo is much, much more than an artist, and we're going to discuss that in detail. Port-specific programs. Isle of Devils, all about Bermuda. Good golly, Miss Somali, that would be Charlotte Amalie, the queen who the capital city is named after, St. Thomas. Fraternal twins, about the two countries, smallest island in the world, or smallest parcel of land in the world, occupied by two independent countries, the French and the Dutch. Salty Dog, about Grand Turk, where it all started. Curacao Bonbini, Viva Aruba. This is Las Vegas with a beach. Capital of Casual, I didn't coin that term, that is the nickname for Jamaica. Spice of the Caribbean, all about Grenada. Sunday's Child, in Italian, Dominica is Sunday. Juan for the Money, the rich port of San Juan. Land of Swallows, Cozumel. Baja Mar, which means shallow sea, the story of the Bahamas. And I have balloon twisting classes. This is hands-on, and this is me in the picture as Pop Snickle. I am a graduate clown. Shell crafts. We have a lot of shells available here in South Florida, and we will provide all the supplies to make shell craft jewelry. Greeting card making. Make your own greeting card right on the ship to send to your family and friends at home. And I also have PowerPoint trivia, approximately 6 titles. Who's Your Daddy is for all ages. This is what I call team trivia. For instance, we don't want to know who this young lady is. We want to know who's your daddy. And your daddy, of course, is Homer Simpson. We have Caribbean potpourri trivia. This is educational trivia about the Caribbean. For instance, what flowering plant common to the Caribbean has the world's largest seed? And that would be coconut. So, okay, can you hear me now? Everybody in the back? Okay. Yeah. Y'all know what to do if you can't hear me at any time during this presentation. That's it. Don't be bashful. Come on. We're all friends here. Okay, this is me. Terrible, terrible last name. I prefer to be called just plain Phil. Let's not go with this terrible thing I've had to deal with all my life. I'm from Port St. Lucie, Florida, of course. Florida's Treasure Coast. This is my wife, Cynthia, who you just saw remind me here of something. And yes, we do some clowning around. I am known as Pops Nickel. I'm a graduate clown. I just graduated in May from the school in Orlando. One of those things you dream about all your life and say, hey, it's time to get this done. I'm not going to come back again. This is only, it's not a dress rehearsal. I've always had problems during my life. I try to be the best, and sometimes when it comes to girls or whatever, I always come out second best. And this was getting the best of me, and I read a story about Charlie Chaplin, true story. He felt the same way I did. So finally he said, I know how I can be number one. So he picked a phony name and entered a Charlie Chaplin look-alike contest. Sure thing, right? He came in third. So I decided to quit worrying about it. I judged my performance against myself. I tried to be better each time and let the chips fall where they may. This is the story I promised, which my wife reminded me of. This tiger, when she went to deliver her cubs, they were all stillborn. They were going to lose her. The zoo was terrified. She wouldn't eat, and she was withering away. Well, the employees knew a farmer. The sow had abandoned its 6 piglets, and they often do this. They're terrible mothers. So he brought the 6 piglets, and he said, well, let's put them in with her. Let's see if she likes bacon or what's going to happen here. So they put them in with her. She loved them to death. She was one happy camper. She adopted all of them. As you can see, she sleeps with them laying on her. And look at this. Can you see the love there? I think we can all get a lesson from this kind of thing. This is the other one. I work with Greyhound Rescue. This is Jasmine here, the greyhound in the picture. She was in Europe, in Great Britain. She was found on a street, near death, in terrible shape. They carried her in, put her down the floor in the rescue. Phone rang, and they said somebody had abandoned some kittens on a railroad track. So they left her there. They went out, picked up the kittens, brought them back, sat them on the floor. And in her weakened condition, she got up, picked up the kittens, put them on the couch, and circled them, laid around them, and licked them and loved them. She is never, ever going to be adopted. She is now an official employee of the rescue. She is their official surrogate mother. And this is just a sample of the things. 5 foxes, badgers, chickens, guinea pigs, rabbits, pups. This bird there, owl, she doesn't care what it is. They bring it in, and that's her job to love it and take care of it. And she does very well at her job. And of course, she's healthy now.
Hey, whatever happened to the tiger with the pigs, the piglets, when they grew into adults?
I don't know. I wish I knew. I suppose they're still best friends, but they probably took them out of her care. Maybe she had some more of her actual cubs after that. And yes, I work with Greyhound Rescue. This is my boy. He's 102 pounds of nothing but muscle and love. He can do 50 miles an hour on the back stretch at the track at Palm Beach. He is a retired racer. And it's hard for me to talk about. We have siblings, brother and sister, and we recently lost a sister to lung cancer. That's all I'm going to say about it. Sorry. This is the show we're going to do. Wacky, Weird, and Wonderful. 99 events. Actually, if you're counting, it's going to end up a few more. Around the world that you may not have heard of. Unusual things. Things we all need to go do and see. And I'm going to have to move right along. We're going to have to cover 99 of them in the next 40 minutes. Can I do it? This guy here says he's been there, done that. I doubt it. There are a lot of things to see and do. Starting out with toe wrestling championships in Ashburn, England. This is good, clean fun, isn't it? We should do that here. I can see these mothers competing, and look at the kids cheering them on. Do you think they're having a good time? Absolutely. Get them off the internet, texting and all that. Baby jumping in Spain, it's been this 200 years. They lay a blanket down, cover it with these little ones, and they see if they can jump over them. Would that make any parent nervous? I couldn't find out how many times they missed. Hopefully not. International Kite Festival. Yes, look at the next picture. Do you see the little things in the bottom? Those are people. Can you imagine how big these kites are? I haven't been there. I would sure like to. That's on my list. I know you've all heard of the running of the bulls in Spain. I just talked to a gentleman about it. But do you know of the event that happens on these same streets one day before the running of the bulls? The running of the nudes. PETA, in protest of the bulls, runs nude through the streets, says naked truth, bullfighting is cruel. So if you're afraid to run with the bulls, hey, run with the nudes. The Naked Festival in Japan, don't everybody get nervous. Japanese are much more modest than we are, and this is as naked as they get. These are the young girls. But it is a huge festival, something they look forward to every year. I had trouble with this one. They have a body painting festival in Austria. There were so many pictures I'd like to show you fellas, but I had to settle for this one. And not to be outdone, we have Fantasy Fest. I don't know if you've heard of that. Key West, Florida. They have painting booths all over, all night long. It's one raucous party and parade, and most of the girls are, in fact, body painted nude. I have to confess, I have been there. I was standing at a street corner waiting for a light, and I admired bright, colorful clothes. And this gal beside me had this beautiful blouse on, and it wasn't until the light changed I realized she wasn't wearing a blouse at all. It's really incredible to see that. I had to do the wet finger test to find out for sure. Sure enough, she was nude. Also, we have a Florida Rat Fest. Not my cup of tea. Night of the Radishes in Mexico. Yes, all over town they have carved radishes. I had so many pictures to choose from. It was really hard to do. This one's a good one. Wife Carrying World Championships. They have this in every country, even ours. They have obstacles. You have to run through the mud and through the water and uphill and downhill and all kinds of challenges. And yes, I know what you're thinking. This is not fair. Why don't the women carry the men? It is legal either way. And they have had instances where it went the other way, where the wife carried the husband. Orange Festival in Italy. These guys are wearing helmets because they throw a whole raft load of oranges at the people, and you know what the people do, don't you? Throw them back. Not to be outdone, France has a lemon festival, and this is like the Rose Festival in Pasadena. They have all kinds of decorated building structures, floats, decorated with fruit. This is right from my neighborhood, southern Michigan, a cherry pit spitting contest. Sweet cherries. And this is Rick Pelican Krause. He's won like 3 out of the 4 years recently, and his wife competes and does very well. Now he has a teenage son who's learning the art. And I think last year's record he spit like 52 feet, I think. That's pretty good. This one I want to go to, the Garlic Fest in Gilroy. You may have heard of that. I'm a real garlic fan, and from what I read, this is really quite a thing. Cow painting, Luxembourg. I am Belgian, Flemish, actually. And they do some incredible things. They're not real cows, but they're placed all over town. But New London in this country wasn't to be outdone, so they have a What's New Festival in New London, New Hampshire. Some of you users might have heard of it. And this, of course, is a new. So what's new, huh? Whoops. Dead Guy Days in Colorado. They don't carry anybody in a casket, but they have a big parade and they dress up. And they pick the coldest days of the year to do this. And of course, the big dance, drinking party afterwards is called the Blue Ball. In Spain, anyone who has had a near-death experience during the year goes and registers. That allows them the chance to be carried in a coffin in the parade. So they get carried down the street, and then there's a big religious ceremony where they bless them all and so forth at the end. But you have to have had a near-death experience during the year. This one we all need to go to. It's called Burning Man in Black Rock, Nevada. Probably the most raucous party all night, all day for like a week or 10 days. I don't know how long it is. But the structures